Indo-US strategic ties, because India and the US will hold second round of strategic and commercial dialogue in the capital. You have the US Secretary of State John Kerry, who is on a visit to India, and External Affairs Minister also will co-chair the strategic dialogue. Commerce Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and US Commerce Secretary Penny Pritzker will also be present at that meet. Economic trade ties and regional and global security situation and cooperation are the key issues that are likely to be discussed during this meeting. This ahead of Prime Minister Modi's expected bilateral meeting with the US President Barack Obama along the sidelines of G20 summit in China is being touted as another milestone between Indo-US relationship. Now, remember, Indo-US bilateral trade has increased threefold in the past decade, from $37 billion to nearly $100 billion. Maha is joining us on this story. Now, Maha, this is the one thing that we're looking at during the twilight of the Barack Obama's tenure. How Indo-US ties are getting a big boost. The bonhomie shared between Barack Obama and the Prime Minister was clearly evident when Barack Obama visited India. Tell us more about what's on the agenda in today's meeting between John Kerry and Sushma Swaraj, and how it's going to set the agenda also for the next meeting between the US President and the Prime Minister.
Yes, the next meeting between the U.S. President and Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be in China, rather on the sidelines of the G20 summit. And before that, both the sides are very keen to complete all the possible bilateral engagements that Obama's regime has come up with as far as India is concerned, because as you were rightly mentioning, he's in the fag end of his tenure in the U.S., and that is why the two sides are keen to wrap up as much of the work between the two sides as possible. Now, Devina, let's remember that India was very keen on getting into the nuclear suppliers group, and that China is the factor that has stopped India's entry into the NSG. And therefore, the discussions today are likely between John Kerry and Sushma likely to highlight on the aspect that US should exert more pressure on China to allow India's entry into the elite nuclear suppliers group. Also, John Kerry will be holding an interaction with students in IIT Delhi tomorrow, and will also be visiting some religious places, a temple, Gurudwara and a mosque tomorrow. Now, that was scheduled for today, but because of some scheduling issues, it has now been advanced to tomorrow. Apart from that, John Kerry has gone to Bangladesh before coming to India, where he held extensive talks with the Bangladeshi Prime Minister on the attack at the Holy Artisan Bakery and the threat of ISIS in the region. That is also an aspect that is likely to come up.
All right, Ma, thanks for getting us all those details.